Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at KuCoin, kind of see what's going on. Hopefully we can anticipate the next movements and obviously understand the big picture of what's going on. So obviously great to see KuCoin back on track, right? A lot of coins are not doing as well as KuCoin is, but we also got to recognize there are some similarities between Crow and Bitcoin too. I want to maybe point that out so you understand as well. If you are new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. This is my day job. I do this every day for a living. Everything you're going to learn here today hopefully can be a learning experience. If you want a better learning experience, I have a website, CryptoCache.tech. The website isn't complete, but does allow for you to log in and effectively become a member. And what we do is we just share signals for every single trade that we take. I also provide you with a Trading Academy series of videos helping you become a better trader every step of the way. And obviously, most important too, just we all interact and communicate openly and learn and grow together. Amazing experience. Thank you so much to my current community members. Take a look here at Crow. Here's the first thing we're going to look at, and this is my baseline. I start with this every time. The reason I think it's relevant is because we do have the 50-day set moving average working as a support level. We see the same thing on Bitcoin as well right now. Big coincidence, KuCoin and Bitcoin are fairly synonymous, and in that sense, we can see it's kind of trending right around 49 cents as a close approximate. That's a good sign, right? Because this is a previous resistance level. Now we can establish that as a support, right? So it's considered to be a support level now that we've broken that. And at this point here, the likely immediate future, if we were to have a pullback, would be down to 48.5, or just say round number 49 cents. So a dollar cost average target would be a good 49-cent range, right? Just so you know if the price were to pull back, which I'm expecting. And here's what. First of all, Bitcoin, if you haven't seen my video already, check that out. Probably link it up above, but I just rolled out with that one here today. Of course, I covered every day, but it's important to look at that today because we are coming to this point of exhaustion, right? And what I mean by that is we look at Bitcoin, we're at a 7 on TD sequential, and notoriously, if just to kind of summarize and cover this again in greater detail, anytime we see an 8 or a 9 in Bitcoin's history, only once or maybe twice, it's only ever increased from there. Or in other words, it's only continued past a 9. In other words, we always see a pullback at 9 on TD sequential for Bitcoin. We saw an 8 last time, nice solid red day of consolidation and retracement. We could very well see something again soon for Bitcoin. So just be mindful of that. If we look at this here as well, KuCoin's at an 8. How much longer do you think this could continue? Now, granted, you could argue the fact that there's probably some times where we saw way past a 9 previously, but this should not have happened, right? That was kind of an anomaly. You don't see that happen too frequent. Commonly, when you see a 9 on TD sequential, you see a state of consolidation at the very least, right? So all I'm saying is just to be cautious and obviously be optimistic. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it would be fairly naive to anticipate a strong shot upwards from here, okay? Again, that possibility could happen with Bitcoin. I could be totally wrong. But history repeats itself for the most part. And if we see a pattern from before, we can identify that there might be a pattern moving forward as well. Okay, so it might follow suit. So the likelihood of seeing a red day tomorrow or the day after, specifically over the weekend, might be higher than the sense of it pushing up from here, right? Now, the consolation there, of course, that we do have a nice steady amount of consolidation. So unlike Bitcoin, we've had better periods of consolidation for KuCoin. So I think that's helpful to understand because that does give us the idea that, hey, maybe we could continue a little bit further, right? There's a good chance we might see another green day today, tomorrow, possibly even the day after. But I just want you to be aware that the pullback is fairly likely, and if Bitcoin pulls back, KuCoin will too, okay? And the reason why I identify that is, of course, you look at the 4-hour chart, the same exact candlestick of, is with Bitcoin. In fact, you look at this pattern here, it's almost the exact same. It comes up, over, up, and over, right? KuCoin, a little bit longer, a little bit slower, but still a very similar pattern, okay? So again, just try to be mindful of that. I just like to draw that similarity so you understand it hasn't broken free from Bitcoin completely, and until it does, we need to acknowledge the fact that it's still very susceptible to Bitcoin sell-offs. This included, right? Came right down, right back up, just like Bitcoin. All right, so now that we've kind of addressed that, let's kind of look at some other things. We're up above the 50-day set moving average. Same with Bitcoin, of course. We're going to see that work as a support level. By the time the price action intersects, it could very well be somewhere in the range of, once again, that support level 48.5 or 49 cents. So once again, good dollar cost average target here based on the fact that the SMA is moving up to likely meet with the price action if we get that sell-off to kind of intersect right here, so to speak, right? Again, we never truly know if that's going to happen, but it's kind of trending towards that, right? Another thing to note too is we're over 70 on the RSI. Bitcoin isn't over 70 on the RSI. or at least it wasn't when I looked at it earlier. Nope, it's not. So we're still in good shape there, but just note that KuCoin is showing signs of being overextended. We've got an 8 on TD sequential. We've got 70 plus on the RSI on the 4-hour. Pullback is almost guaranteed. Okay, just kind of letting you know that. Now, we did have a bounce off of the MACD, which is a good sign for bullish momentum. So we're not in dire straits by any means. But the midterm here is telling us we're reaching exhaustive state. That'll translate to the long term and the macro, and we need to be aware of that, right? We're hitting exhaustive state on the 4-hour here. How's that going to translate to an 8 on TD sequential in the 1 day? All right, again, just something to think about. Again, just try to be the voice of reason for you so you understand, because it's really easy to get kind of hyped up and excited. Trust me, I hope KuCoin breaks its previous all-time high. I think it's still will this year, but we got to be realistic between now and then. Bitcoin still, for the most part, controlling the market, and there's a lot of manipulation with Bitcoin right now. I mean, this last 48 to 72 hours has been a show, to say the least. like there's almost no anticipating it, no reading it. And KuCoin, thankfully, is a little bit smoother, but it's still responding to Bitcoin. Granted, it continues to go on its little runs a little faster and more consistent than Bitcoin, but it's still up and down similar, right? So again, I just like to mention that because Bitcoin is definitely something to be aware of. And if you haven't already watched that video, check it out so you kind of understand what I mean by this. All right, so one last thing, we're just going to wrap this up here, call it a day. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud, we have a very similar pattern here, of course, whereas we have the conversion line intersecting with the baseline. That's a sign where you want to consider potentially not necessarily selling your position, because Ichimoku cloud is a conservative indicator, but as soon as the baseline breaks above the conversion line and the conversion goes down, then we're at a point in which we could see that shift, right? And it's basically telling us we have a shift in momentum. Yes, we're above the cloud, that's all well and good. Yes, lagging span hasn't intersected with the price action, but the conversion line is telling us we have too sporadic of a movement right here to allow for this to be comfortable to stay in our position, right? Because again, conservative indicator, a conservative trader would have exited the position by now because they feel it's overextended. All right, so again, just try to think of that. Once again, not telling you to sell your position. Feel free to hold, but if it were to come back down, don't be surprised. And also be ready, have some money set aside so you can add to your dollar cost average, right? If that is something that you're still considering. Okay. Again, everyone trades different. That's kind of the case. And then we look at TD sequential here. You came up to a 6, got a major reset, back up to a 4. Potentially we have 5 more hours worth of continuation the upside. I don't personally see it's going to happen because once again, 46,000 for Bitcoin is a major price resistance level, and I do foresee KuCoin following similar suit. So I wouldn't see anything greater than 55 or 56 cents from KuCoin. I would say absolute best case scenario would be 58 cents in the immediate future, but I do not foresee that happening without a leg down first. When I say leg down, I'm just talking about a correction, natural correction to kind of get back on track. Because if you look at these nice little flows here, KuCoin's been doing really well. Higher highs and higher lows there, came down, reset, consolidated support, and now it's continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. However, this little reset was not cool. So if the next low is lower than right here at about 51 cents, just as a close approximate, if we drop below 51 for KuCoin, you can expect it to potentially start making lower highs and lower lows. And then at that point, we'd be in that consolidation phase / potentially a consolidation phase / retracement. Okay, again, sky isn't going to fall if that happens. Bitcoin is potentially going to come down to 41.5 and or 43,000. That's just my personal feeling based on the way that things are trending. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Bitcoin continues to go up and just consolidate and increase, leg up, all that staircase awesomeness. But I don't foresee that happening based on its exhaustive state. We need some consolidation from Bitcoin. It's jumped up way too fast, way too quick. KuCoin's following suit. Just be aware of that. All right, hopefully you learned something here today. Of course, if you did, consider liking and subscribing. And more importantly, consider becoming a community member if you're not already. A lot of my community is based on KuCoin alone. I think I got a good quarter or maybe a small, maybe 25%, somewhere in that range, 20% of my members from Kro. Because I tell you what, really cool group of community folks there. And that's why I like to prioritize KuCoin as well, because I know it's a big request from my community. So thanks again for asking that I cover this. And obviously, again, you want to become a better trader, consider joining. CryptoCache.tech is the link in the description below if you'd like, or just type out CryptoCache.tech. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.